Oh, when I got that pump, we had a fella come and dig. He dug about 6 feet, and the water has been there ever since.
Oh, no kidding.
So it's just a hand-dug well.
Huh.
Let's say something about Saco, Maine on there, Bill?
Yeah, it does. It was made in Saco, Maine.
And it's a
Now,
working pump?
Can you see if you'll pump, Dick? I don't know. Wait till he gets it going. You have to pump fairly fast. Somebody had it going the other day, some kids, and I couldn't believe it. They had it.
It's coming.
When? Willow Farm. How are you today?
Good. Heard anything on the Eagle?
No?
I'll give them a buzz and see what's happening.
Okay.
Because I took it over, what, 10 days ago.
Well, this may be the star of the show. This is the Ford building. Got a very interesting weather vane up there. An old ordinary penny farthing. And we've got the Ford, early Ford symbol. And inside there's a collection of Ford automobiles that, if you like automobiles, take your breath away. This is a really interesting poster. It shows the Ford automobiles from a quadricycle in 1896, another quadricycle in 1901, a Model A, a Model F, Couplet Touring, Senador sedan, the Model R, Model N. And you finally get up to the more familiar '29s. A lot of those cars we're going to see right in here. There's a 31 Victoria in there, Dick.
Right, which we just looked at.
'38 station wagon. I used to have a 38 like that car. There's the man who did it all, Henry.
What's the plaque, Bill, right below the portrait of Henry? Henry Ford there, that glass.
Original Model T era glass. 1903, 1978, 75th anniversary. And here's another poster with a history of the Ford tractors, but we won't get into the detail on those. There's a cartoon there. Where'd that come from, Bill?
And the 53 Ford tractor was what they call the Golden Jubilee. And that's the one that we've restored out in the other building.
And this cartoon, don't turn it off, let it get warmed up first. That looks like a New Yorker or something.
Well, it's wonderful, too, because in the old days, the Model T Fords, when you cranked them, no matter how good the emergency brake was, they would tend to crawl ahead.
Oh.
And so what it says on there, don't shut it off.
Yeah.
The guy's holding it back. But this really did happen.
And farewell, my lovely, to the Model T Ford up above it.
Huh? That was the book. This is the book that came out about it, Farewell, My Lovely.
Huh. How many cars are there in here, Bill? About a dozen?
Well, altogether, there's over a dozen cars. but there's 7 in this building.
Okay.
All Fords. We start out with a 1904 Ford, which is the 1011th car that Ford built. In 1903, he started business, and that was called a Model A. And then the next year, in 1904, he built a Model B and a Model C, and this is the Model C. And this is the gas tank is in here.
Oh, yeah.
And then you crank it on the side. This is the
Huh.
crank.
Crank is permanently in position, or can you take that out of there?
No, you take it out
Yeah.
when you're running.
Yeah.
But this is then in here is the engine. It's a 2-cylinder opposed engine
With a modern battery.
with a modern battery. That's right. But it's the engine is all original.
What's in those wood blocks?
These are coils.
Coil.
These
Yeah.
are a couple extra coils.
Yeah.
These are the original coils in it. And those buzzed and made the spark
Yeah.
for each cylinder.
Yeah.
You can get a good shot right in front.
Chain drive. And also right-hand drive. To give you some idea of the chain.
A story about this. This was owned by Fred Elliott, who ran the Ford garage in Franklin. And I had known about it before the war. And I tried to buy it from him. And he said, no, he said, I've got 2 or 3 kids. And he said, someday they may want it. And he had bought it from a junkyard up in Rumney, New Hampshire. And had brought it down there. And the Merrimack River had run through his garage in the basement. This is where this was stored twice after he had it.
Oh,
But anyway, after I got back from war, about 47 or 48, he called me up and he said, I don't think my kid's interested, and I know you are. If you want it, you can come down and get it. And I think I paid him $200 for it.
Wow.
And then Bud Larson went with me, and we tried to blow the tires up, and every time we blew one up, it would blow. And so we finally got it home and partially restored it.
well, this wasn't your first car antique, was it, Bill?
No,
You had that leather work reworked?
no, that's the original seat.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Plaster was on it.
Ford Motor Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Over.
Oh, I
to
see.
turn it on.
Yeah.
Battery on and off.
Yeah.
How long was the battery good for, you know?
Well, they would go for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. And you'll notice that there's still right-hand drive. And this was restored by a professor at MIT. And his son was going to sell it to somebody in Florida. And his son is a member of the old car club. And I said, gee, I hate to see it leave New Hampshire. And he said, well, why don't you buy it? He said, you can have the same price I've offered it to the fellow in Florida. And that, I said, good. So that's how I came by it. But it's exactly the same. I didn't do anything to it.
Oh, no kidding.
Is that a water pump below the crank?
Yeah, yeah.
Driven right off the front of the crankshaft.
Huh.
And that looks like the early design of the Ford.
It is. That's a very early design, the Ford radiator. And they, only this, see this, they had this 1907 in different models, an N and an R and an S. And depending, the R had a windshield and so
Oh, yeah.
forth. And some had running boards on them, and so
Where's the engine?
we'll pick this right up. So you can.
That's 2 spark plugs per cylinder.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't want any chance of a skip.
Right.
Innovative things there.
Boat Tail Roadster. Pneumatic tires, Firestone
Did
tires.
that open up?
Yeah, on the further side, just turn that handle, you can,
And what is that, a storage space?
yeah.
The first trunk?
Looks like some,
Put
Side
tools in there?
curtains on here, Bill?
Yeah,
I'll be darned.
Spare tube. Boys come in handy.
Single rear light.
see, even had that here so it wouldn't bother the paint.
Right. Spring.
Grease fitting?
I think that's what that is. Isn't that a grease cup,
Yeah,
Bill?
yeah,
You just turn it down,
yeah.
and you wanted more grease into that.
Huh,
It's like a pivot point for the spring.
yeah. Pretty simple dash.
It rear wheel brakes only, by the looks.
See these snaps on here, Dick? This is part of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, was that Pittsfield Spark Coil Company medallion on there too?
It had 2 coils, this had 4. And these are the adjustments on the coil.
Is that one for each cylinder?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they give you a diagram of what's what?
Yeah, down in there.
Was this the first year of the Model T?
This is a 1911 Model T Ford. And a fellow by the name of Bill Davies was in California at school. And his family came up here summers. They were well-to-do people. And he decided to bum home from California. And he got to Denver, Colorado, and they're having an auction. And he bought this car at that auction. And the Denver Motor Club is still the plaque on the dash. Did you know that, Dick? I don't know.
No, I haven't seen that.
Right here. The DMC, Denver Motor Club. And the date on there is 1915. And so, anyway, he drove it from there to its family home on Lake Sunapee. And the chauffeur said the damn thing was right in the way. So, in 1938, he came over to the garage and said, you know, the chauffeur's upset about that car being there, and I need some tires on my 1937 Ford. You give me 2 new tires and you can have the car. So I came by it. But this is the first one I had.
Well, $800 recovering the leather seats, that's retail.
That was a speedometer, isn't it,
Yeah,
Bill?
speedometer and odometer, both. Looks like it's got
That's a speedometer.
a trip odometer there too. 26,000 miles. There's a little more refinement on the Ford symbol. A acetylene tank for lighting purposes for the
For
car.
lighting, for the headlights.
Yeah.
These are kerosene.
Huh.
And this is the horn.
Okay.
No, that goes with that, Dick.
Was it a race car, Bill?
Well, our garage dealership number was 99.
I see.
And Ford's first racer was 999.
Ah,
So I got Bud Larson to put that on there. And but this was pretty much the way I bought the car. It was for another fellow who was in the old car club. And we've used it a great deal. It has a special transmission in it, so it'll go about 60 miles an hour.
And the windshield accommodates only one person.
That's right. It's what they call a monocle windshield. And my son David and his wife Janet drove that to Boston in 1975 for Ford's 75th anniversary.
That's a big
Wait a
spotlight.
minute, wait a minute. We get the, let's see,
That's a spotlight there in the front,
yes,
big thing.
yeah. And the real fancy cars, speeches of this earlier date, were Duesenbergs, and should I put over there
The little yellow model.
yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that.
This is a Mercer raceabout, and there are also Duesenberg races, and they are all guaranteed to do better than 65 miles an hour. But they are very, very expensive, and only real sportsmen could have them. So somebody that didn't have much money took one of these Ford chassis, and they built this up. This is not, it's a Ford chassis, but the rest of it is sort of hand produced.
Oh, so this is a
So this is a poor man's raceabout.
poor man's Mercer or Duesenberg. So this is not a Ford manufacturer. This is something that has
The
been
chassis is all Ford.
built up from the chassis.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a brass exhaust whistle on this.
Oh yeah. Four tones.
And the front end is kind of interesting on it because the dropped axle,
Yeah.
you see you can compare that axle and this one. And they dropped that down and see it was welded in here to make it look lower,
Right.
like race cars.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
You got a 1914 New Hampshire plate on it.
Yes, yeah.
All these registered up to date, Bill?
Yeah.
So you could take any one of them
We'll
out
drive
on the
them
road.
all or something,
Right.
don't we, Dick?
That's right. When we get the grass mowed.
Built this building, I wanted to have a Ford up on the roof as a weather vane. So I found this fellow over in Unity. His name was Stephen Morse. And somebody told me he did really wonderful work. And his father and mother brought him over here and they took about 30 pictures of the Speedster. And 3 months later he called me up and said it's all ready. And this is the model. And it was so good that I never dared to put it up on the roof. I was afraid somebody would steal it. But you see, it's got the 99, even got
Yeah.
the
You
number,
got number
on
one
it.
plate on back.
And
that's
the
all-
horn on one side and the whistle on
Steam
the
whistle
other.
on the other. Is that,
It's all copper and brass.
uh-huh.
And these headlights were the bottoms of 2 olive bottles, he said. But it's a remarkable job.
It is.
Really? And he had it all fitted to be a weather vane if you'd wanted to, huh?
Yes, yeah, that's what I planned on it, but I thought, gee, that's too good. So it's always been in here.
Yeah.
This is a box, and Henry Ford used to buy spark plugs of Champion, and this is a box they came in.
Huh.
Champion spark
Yeah.
plug, and see it says Ford on it. And there was a question about whether Ford would change or not. And Ford says, well, I'll buy all my plugs for you, but they've got to be shipped in a special container. And so the Champion people said, sure, we'd be glad to. So the boxes were marked Ford with an X. And they were all shipped to Detroit. They dumped them out, and then Ford used them as battery boxes for his car. Did that in the garage, we sold them for Ford would run.
Charcoal briquette.
This showcase came from Benny Seidner's store, and it was his candy case. And when he closed the store up, I bought it and put these memorabilia in there.
This is
And I
all,
think, I don't know whether you can see this or not, I'll read it to you. Finally found a hat a fella can wear and not feel like a darn fool. And it says on it, I'd rather push my Ford than drive a Chevy.
and these are all Ford-related items, huh?
No, not necessarily. They're early automobile
Automobiles.
stuff.
That was a Mack from the old Mack trucks, I guess.
This is something I probably ought to tell you about. This here is a carbide generator. And the very early cars, like 1904 Ford would have had one of these. And you put carbide crystals in and then water. And the water dripped on the crystals and formed a gas. And that was what you use for light. And this is one of them here. This shows it on a Packard motor car early. And then this one here used the acetylene that was the same that was used on the 11 Ford.
That came out of a tank on the running board?
Yeah,
Acetylene?
yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
But this is one complete unit with the acetylene, I mean the carbide.
Carbide in there.
Oh.
Complete.
Self-contained.
Yeah.
And you get pretty good light out of that?
Yeah, surprisingly. Well, they're early Ford tools.
They are Ford though,
Yeah.
huh? And what's that, a tire gauge with the numbers on there?
This here? Yeah, it was one we had in a showcase in when we sold gauges and so forth in the garage. This I've had it for about 5 years and was completely restored by a fellow that lived over your way. And what town is it you live in?
Dublin?
In Dublin. And Mike Worcester called me up and he said this is a car that was completely restored, and he said it'd be a great car for you to have. And the fellow, his wife had died and he's going to be alone, he wants to get rid of it. So I went over and bought it.
You remember his name?
No, I don't.
Was he in Dublin or just down that way?
No, I think he's in Dublin.
Huh.
But it's a complete 1915 Ford. This also had the horn on the side.
Is it a chore to open that hood and see the engine?
Sure.
Guess they felt more confident. They only had one spark plug per cylinder on by this time.
Janie did, and my sister did too.
Uh-huh.
Went away in that. See, that driving gloves, got the jack,
Oh yeah.
extra fan belt,
No tubes?
screwdriver to check the spark, and extra bulbs in
Oh,
case
yeah.
they need it,
Yeah.
and a tire repair kit.
Oh, so you patched your own tubes, huh?
Right.
Owner's manual?
No, this is look, but do not touch.
Oh yeah. Model T, 1924.
And this came from the Dewey family. And where you see the beautiful view up on Burpee Hill, that was their home. And it belonged to Madam Dewey, and we still call it Madam Dewey.
Ah,
And she was the mother of Bradley Dewey, who was president of the Dewey-Elmy Corporation in Cambridge.
ah,
And when I was a little boy, she used to go to all the auctions around and would always come to our garage and wanted the tires checked, which I hated to see her coming, but she always bought a gas. My father said, "You got to be good to the customer." So after she died, Bradley called me up one day and he said, "You know, Mother's car's right in the way over in the garage." And he said, "Why don't you come over with 25 bucks and get it?" And I did that, and that's how we happened to have it.
and this is the shape it was in when you got it?
Exactly, yeah. This is,
Now it has a mirror, Bill. I don't remember seeing mirrors on the others. Did they all have mirrors?
well, that was something you could buy to put on. See, it's a clamp-on mirror,
Oh, okay.
a Ford accessory.
Oh, you bought the mirror from Ford?
No, well, you can buy it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, there's Sears Roebuck had them, and
Yeah.
everybody. And there was a windshield wiper. Can you see it? This is a windshield wiper up here, the hand
Oh, you ran it by hand.
wiper.
And the hell with the passenger. He didn't need to see. Right hand, left hand drive now.
Exactly.
And a cover on the...
And the Ford changed over in 1909 when he came out with his first T to left-hand drive.
Ah.
Which is an interesting fact.
Was he the first one to do it?
I'm not sure about that.
I remember those running boards. They with that dimpled effect. They're the same as they used to have on the Model A's early, I think.
And see up here, there's a brand
Oh, yeah.
new one,
Yeah.
which he had in our parts department in our garage.
Oh,
It
no
never
kidding.
sold.
Yeah.
I saved it. That was the first antique plate is up over there.
Yeah, 1955.
No, 54.
Round the corner.
You have to go around the corner. That was the first
There we go.
antique plate.
Yeah.
And these are Ford dishes. And that's Ford silver. And it's marked on it.
Good
Ford.
Lord. Is it really silver? Or is
I
it
don't know.
metal?
I don't know.
There's a Woody. Is that the same year as yours?
Yeah.
So you've had number one ever since there were antique plates, huh?
Yes. Yes, you pull the wire and
Oh, that's an
when this piston came up, it blew the whistle.
exhaust whistle, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's getting a little more complicated than the others that
Yeah.
we've been looking at.
Yeah, this had a starter and a generator.
When did the electric starter come in? Or the battery operated starter?
About 1919 or 20.
So you were cranking up until then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, the Model A 31 Deluxe two-door Phaeton.
Well, I bought this from a fellow up in Vermont, and there'd been several people that had owned it. And this is a particular model that Ford came out with in 1931, which was called a Deluxe Phaeton, because it had a trunk rack and the two side wheels on the fenders. And Ford only sold 6,000 of them. The reason was it was the beginning of the Depression, and nobody wanted to pay $140 extra for bucket seats and
Plus it only had 2 doors and most of them had 4 doors.
had 4 doors, yeah. And when I got it, it was you could the floorboards in the back. You could stand on there and straddle the drive shaft. And so it was a lot of restoration. And as a matter of fact, I bought it for $250. And the woman whose husband sold it to me, called me up and she said, you know, Bill, that's more than you should pay for that. Says, I gave my husband hell, she said. And I said, that's perfectly all right.
Don't change your mind.
No, I think it's all right. I'm willing to pay $250.
Well, we did a lot of the chassis restoration at the garage.
Yeah.
Now, the spark and the choke were on the steering column,
Spark in the throttle.
throttle.
Throttle's on the right and the spark's on the left.
This is a hand throttle,
Yeah.
and this is a spark.
And what's the thing on the horn ring? That lever.
The light switch.
Oh, this is lights. High, low, off, parking.
Huh. This is standard engine. You didn't get anything more for your $140 out of
this
this.
is regular. Model A. Starter and the generator.
Yeah. The old timing rod.
We could probably put that trunk rack down.
For the extra money, you got this trunk rack and these.
I don't know, Dick, that, and maybe.
Good. Put the steamer trunk right on there.
Yeah. And you got the extra tires, one on each side with a spiffy little canvas cover.
Forward,
Yeah. That lets you get into the back seat.
into the back seat, yeah.
Were these the first bucket seats that you'd seen?
Yes, that Ford put out.
Somebody did a good job in restoring that, didn't they?
And this was the time we went down there, 78, right? And this is down in, what is the square in Boston, where they,
Copley?
You know, in Beacon,
no. There's a big center down there, that's where we all met.
Copley Square?
Prudential Center?
Daniel Hall?
The
Oh, that-
speedster,
Yeah, that was Kevin White
yeah.
cranking the old car.
And this is a Ford representative with P and me. And there were about 30, and they wined and dined us. And we were the only cars that were driven
Uh-huh.
to Boston. All the others came
Trailered
in
in.
fancy trailers.
Yeah.
And they got a Keystone cop all dressed up here for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's David and Janet.
Oh, they drove the Speedster?
They
down
drove the speedster. Petey and I took the beach wagon.
there. Oh, boy. Oh,
Yeah,
that,
and you can see a little beach wagon. One of these pictures. I don't know where the hell it is.
that's City Hall Plaza.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you get these when you're out of the garage, Bill, or did you pick them
No,
up?
the ones I picked up through the years.
Yeah.
And those are foot plates, you know, that go on the running boards. The two says Ford on them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's the ice house and the Speedster.
Yeah.
What's this again? I'm looking at it right
It's a
here.
dual carburetor
Dual car.
Manifold.
for Model A.
Uh-huh.
For they call them their racing cars.
Right.
And there's somebody down here working on one. Is that you, Bill, in the picture?
No, that's I saw that picture and I saved it because it shows the guy lighting it in relation to these two lights.
Oh,
and
yeah.
see, I had a gas light so I could down there see the bottle.
Yeah.
so he could show how those lights work.
I see.
So it'll run out of gas.
A little propane in there?
Yeah.
There's the bulbs, came in a repair kit. Okay,
They're all,
are they all still on premises?
are they what?
Oh, 13, 14, 15, 16, there are 18 of them, are they all still here?
Yeah. Well, I think some of them are duplicates.
We could do that again.
Get them all out in the field, you mean?
Yeah. Here's some tools,
Yeah.
4 tools.
That was an old Ford step plate, see that
Yeah,
one?
sure.
The red bug, did we see the red bug? 29 auto,
Yeah, that's that little car, the electric one.
oh, that's right, yeah.
Someone took me for...
These you had in the garage, or did they come with cars?
No, they came with the cars, early cars. They all marked Ford.
And those keys down there, those didn't work in the car, did they? The keys?
No, there's some keys that I picked up somewhere.
Uh,
However, there are some modern T Ford keys on it.
uh-huh.
Shop manuals.
Shop manuals?
And this opens up and we get some more in here too. And I think the earliest,
Oh, the day log from the
Yeah.
garage?
No, that's 46.
yeah, this one here is 1914.
Uh,
I think that's one of the earliest ones. Oh, see, this one my father was doing electrical work, see?
Huh.
Listen. That's the original. And the fellow did the chainsaw guy, did the Bayers, gave that to me.
Uh-huh. Well, that's nice to have.
Yeah.
Tom Worcester, huh? Well, we're now upstairs in the Ford building in Bill's,
What we call the upper room.
the upper room.
My office is called God's waiting room. And so when we fix this up, we call this the upper room. I'll tell you a story about this clock. When Dr. Sawyer, who's Kobe Sawyer was named after, his father was a medical doctor in Maine. When he was a little boy, his father had a 1911 Ford, just like the one I've got downstairs. And he said to his mother, I'd like to get Dad something for Christmas. And she said, well, why don't you get the Sears Roebuck catalog out and find something? So he did. And this was a clock that he gave his father
Oh, boy.
way back then. And a year before he died, he brought it down and gave it to me. He says, the only thing we've got left, I've given my father. And he said, I think you'd ought to have it. And one of the interesting things is it's a wind-up, so you can wind it up. And then it was, I said he's a medical doctor. If it was a rainy day, it would be on the dashboard, and he could put the top down. And then if it was at nighttime, he could light the light to see
Oh,
what
for
time it
goodness
was.
sake. That's
But that was on a 1911 Ford.
and the milk wagon model there.
Yeah, it's a We picked it up somewhere at an antique show. And this is one of Bud Laurenson's paintings that was on the cover of Antique Automobile magazine. And this is a painting that Bill Roos, a friend of mine, did. Profile Auto League. And they used to be in a hotel down in Concord, the Highway Hotel. And they tore it down and they were stored away. And at one of our meetings about 2 years ago, somebody resurrected them and they wanted them cleaned up. So I said I would clean them up. And they said, you keep them till we want them. So, but they belong to the PAL group.
And they are trophies of some sort of?
Yes, different trophies.
Profile Auto League.
It's marked on here if you want to get a close-up, I don't know.
I got the Profile Athletic League, but is
Oh,
there,
you could
is
see
there
that.
something on there that says what it represents? Was it a
No,
trophy? Oh, that's a copy thing.
It's a Coco.
Coco.
Yes, as far as I got. Toys.
Oh, we saw Chain
See,
Toys
that's
earlier,
right, you
yeah.
saw it down earlier on the
Yeah.
desk. And these are all of them. This is typical. And this is a symbol, the chain.
Oh, yeah.
And they most of them will wind up toys.
I'll be darned.
Here's one, Mr. Alligator. This is a very unusual one. Is that something?
I'll be darned. How old would that be, Bill?
Oh, I imagine the 20s or something like
Uh-huh.
that.
Chain,
And they made these little boats.
oh, runabout, yeah. Chain toys are collector's items also, I imagine, aren't they?
The what?
Collector's items?
Oh, yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, every once in a while, a fellow's an antique dealer will come in. And so I was talking to him the other day, and I said, they're really getting kind of rare. And he said, hell, he said, people will kill for some of those toys. And these are all the same thing, these chains.
Where are they located, do you know?
I think it was New York State where they originally started.
Huh. Then we got car models.
This is a 1903 model Ford. That's a Model A.
Yeah.
And downstairs there's a C model. See, they put a hood on it,
Yeah.
but the rest of it is about the same. And this up here was one of our old car people. The name was Jim Wentworth. He lived in Dover, and when he died, his wife brought all the things that he had related to the Profile Auto League out and gave it to me.
Huh.
And this was one of them. And this is a sample of some of his work that he did.
He was, what, an artist, Bill?
Yeah, but he ran a paint store.
Ah,
But he did all of these. And I've got dozens of them. I've got boxes of them.
huh.
And this was a model that he did.
Now, is that a Ford also?
No, it's a French car.
Renault or Peugeot? Or...
I think it's marked on it. I can't-
And where did these models come from, Bill?
Oh, I picked them
Just
up through the
collected them?
years, yeah. was in our office at the garage through the years. And this was Mary Haddad's desk. You know, my father had the one back
Sure.
to the right.
Yeah.
And this is a Bud Larson, one of his paintings. This is a print.
Hmm.
And then over here, this is another painting of his that he did with toys, and he borrowed this from me to do the painting. So this was this here.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty faithful reproduction, isn't it?
Yeah.
A steam fire engine. Isn't that what that is? A steam fire engine?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is a meeting of the PAL in that big
Yes,
picture there?
that's right, yeah. And there's Bill Kidder and Bud Larson years
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Well, that's not too long ago, was it? 1957?
Yeah. Well, you see, we didn't get started until 1954.
Yeah, that was the third annual meeting.
Yeah.
Where is that, over in Concord?
Yes,
Old Highway
the
Hotel.
Highway Hotel.
Is that the one that burned, or that was a highway motel, I guess?
Well, it was, no, that's the same one, the Highway some people call it
Where the big
hotel,
shopping
but it's
center is
motel.
now.
Yeah.
One time Bud Larson and I did a lecture up at Colby College Community Forum in 55, and that's when I fixed those horns up so we could blow those horns up there.
And there's your early times delivery wagon.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And this was a early group. We had cannoneers for the Historical Society.
And Muster Day.
Yeah. This is Alf Jacobson and Wade Weathers and Bill Kidder and David Kidder and young Bill.
Yeah, I thought I recognized the voice there.
And this they gave me when I was president of the
PAL.
group.
Yeah. What's this thing on the vertically mounted?
Oh, this is someone gave me one time, and it's a stick that they use for the 4th of July, and you put caps in it. See
Oh,
this?
yeah.
Caps, you walk along
Oh, stamp
the
it
street
and
and bang
goes
it.
bang, yeah.
And
Well, this has been a great tour, Bill. We sure appreciate you taking the time.
well, it's been fun for all of us.
I think you got, besides the complex here at the Ice House, you got some more collections like the banks at home,
I have, yeah.
and your office has got a, like God's waiting room.
God's waiting.
That's got a lot in there too that
Yeah,
tells a
yeah,
lot of
it
stories. So maybe sometime we'll come back and visit you and get a
Right.
rundown on those.
Love to have you.
Thanks very much for having us, and I understand we're gonna wind this whole thing up with a whistle downstairs.
We'll give you a hell of a blast.
There we go.
Seed drop down,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you move it over and pack the soil on top of it, see, as you walk forward. See, the seed drops in.
Oh, I see, this opens up,
That's right, that
The seeds
opens up,
drop
lets
down,
the seed down. Yeah.
and then you go along and tamp it down with
Tamp
that.
it down with that.
Yeah.
What am I looking at now?
Well, these are whistles that I picked up through the years, and Russell Spaulding had that. That's a water pipe, and he welded in the ends, and we blow the whistles by air. And this is the first one. And this came off the Haim shop in Andover, New Hampshire. And this is another later one. The rain has gotten into that one. And this is a locomotive whistle. And this came off the fire station over in Plymouth, New Hampshire.
Well, I'd say that's a fitting end, Bill, although I'm not sure how many eardrums are left. A great visit and a great send-off.